All right, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. Tonight, we are continuing on our epic campaign playing Mongoose Publishing's second edition Traveler role-playing game, the hard sci-fi game that they have published, and playing through the Pirates of Drinax epic sandbox campaign. And with me are the two stars of the Wednesday night sessions. First up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Captain Charlie Williams, and I am currently on a boat, or in a sub, actually.
No, you're currently in a underwater suit, a hard suit.
Oh, sorry, in a suit. Outside the sub, even worse.
That is correct. And the other star, the co-star of the Wednesday night sessions, Steve O.
Hello, I am playing Commander Miltiades Gavros, and I am also outside the sub in a suit.
Yes. So let's do the camera shuffle here and get ourselves ready to go into roll 20. I think we are good to go into that. So let me get to myself logged in here. Oh, one tidbit while we're doing this too is I went back this weekend and listened to the character creation session with Brent, with his character, that psychic guy. One thing I haven't mentioned to you, I saw that I mentioned it to Brent that I was going to talk to you about this, Steve, but I did not actually do it, is that you know Brent's character from your homeworld. You guys are both from the same community.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so his... we haven't reintroduced him, but he was a little bit older than you, but he was kind of a legend in his day, like, you know, kind of the golden boy of his family, and then sort of like fell off the grid. He just totally disappeared. Let me turn my camera off here. Boom. Share screens. And we have the soothing sounds of the shore as well, too, present to everyone. Oh. And let me refresh this. I'm getting some hang time here. Let's refresh this. Yep, perfect. All right, my camera's working. Steve's camera's working.
Yeah, mine doesn't work because I have to use Firefox.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to hide that. So as
oh, that's a sad picture of Charlie.
It is now. Oh, no. Oh, for those who are regular viewers of the channel, or for those who are new, at the time of recording, this is the second game of any game that we've played since Jeff's character in our Shadow of the Demon Lord campaign was untimely killed by one of his fellow heroes.
Oh, Brent felt pretty bad, I think.
That did, yeah. That made me feel less bad that it was not me who killed him. It was Brent's character. But
well, let's see if I can go 2 for 2 sessions in a row.
Yeah, that's true. Because where we left our characters off now, several days ago in the game, our heroes had set sail on the oceans of Marduk. They had been hired by this crazy professor named Maris Inar, who was getting funding from this organization called the Furtherance. And the funding was so that he could pursue this crackpot idea he had about there being advanced beings that lived beneath the waves of Marduk. And Marduk is a somewhat backwards and xenophobic planet that used to be a much more technologically advanced place, roughly 2,600 years ago. Either between then and 2,000 years ago, I don't remember offhand. But following the collapse of of a nation, a galactic nation known as the Sindal Empire, or the Empire of Sindal, the Marduk was bombed into oblivion, and the people who survived ended up hiding out on various islands and adopting a bunch of strange customs, including a distrust of both the peoples and the languages of those who come from any place other than their own island. So our heroes set sail and did some initial undersea exploration. They used a submarine where they detected what, guys? What do you remember finding underneath the waves?
We found some ships that were laden with construction materials and seemed to be forming some kind of barrier, like a fortress.
That is correct. Yeah. And the barrier seemed to be less to keep things in than to keep things out as well. And I believe that where we left our session was with you guys scanning, doing an up close and personal scan. Jeff, Charlie did have some difficulty getting his scanner to work properly. But right as our session ended, one of the other individuals, Captain Elaine Corelli, who was in the sub with her son, Jace Corelli, his fiancée, Eugenie, and of course, Professor Inar. Captain Elaine, or Captain Corelli, picked up a sonar beacon, or a sonar blip that was coming coming in your direction, and well, in the direction of the sub, more specifically, directly towards you guys. And I think we left with her saying over the comms, get in now! So why don't we open our scene with the two of you kind of, you know, making your way underwater. We can see you're, you know, breathing heavily inside the masks of these hard suits. You're moving as fast as you can, but these things are not particularly comfortable to be moving around in, nor are they really designed for fast movement. So why don't we do this, guys, is I am going to get you guys to do, let me see here, there's some interesting rules for chained actions in this, and I think we're going to give them a try here. And for those listening at home, this is actually, if this is the first time you're joining us, we are playing through the, well, as best as we can, we're running Traveler as written, because none of us have actually played Traveler before, at least not in any kind of extended period. So if you see us looking up rules or discussing how rules apply, it's because the game is relatively new to us. Also, because I'm a Bush League DM and didn't look up the rules beforehand. So there is that too. All right, so task chains. Here's how task chains work, guys. This is sort of like the extended, the extended task rules for this particular game. What it does is that the result of the previous dice roll will provide a modifier to the next one. So this actually isn't probably the appropriate thing to use for this. Let me see here. What's the multiple tasks? Wonder if there's, what I want is something that's a long-term task. I think here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make up rules. Is I've got in mind a specific effect you need to reach in order to reach the sub in time. If you do not reach that effect by the time my countdown ends, then something potentially bad will happen. You guys understand? And remember, so that the average difficulty for anything is always an 8, remember. Unless I say otherwise, the difficulty of a dice roll is going to be 8. I think what I want you guys to do is I need you guys to both make rolls on your, what is it, the V-suit, I think it's called, skill? You know, hold on, let me grab my, how about I grab the stupid DM screen, which is actually pretty cool. I don't know if I think I showed you guys this, but this is the DM screen that they published for Traveler. Woo.
Love that.
And it's pretty cool, and it's great hard cardstock too. So that I like that a lot. Now, what I don't like is that they do not appear to have listed the skills on this. I think I was thinking of a different game that has the skills listed, so that's not super helpful. Game, thanks. What I will do though is, Vac-suit. Vac-suit is the dice roll I want. Vac-suit and dexterity, please. So once you guys have that queued up and ready to go, difficulty is an 8. You go ahead and make your dice roll whenever you are ready. Let's see.
Ooh, okay. Nice.
So Miltiades, you got an 8, which means an effect of 0.
So we have no boons or nothing, right?
No boons, nice. No banes. Okay, so you're making your progress towards. we cut back inside the sub, and we see Elaine looking at the monitor, and it's going wee, 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 and it's getting a little closer. If you're thinking of the scene from Aliens, you'd be probably pretty close. And she says, hurry up, guys. Give me a vac suit roll again.
All right.
Oh, come on, baby.
Yeah.
The Commander Gavros, you stumble. And, Commander Gavros, you stumble and fall down to the ground. There's a cloud of sand that goes up and surrounds you, and you scramble to your feet. All you can hear in your ear is that boing, 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 the sound of the sonar ping getting closer. Charlie,
now remind me, we brought 0 weapons, correct?
You have 0 weapons. That is correct, because you are pretty far. I think you're about like 20 meters underneath the surface of the water.
Right.
So yeah, but so Charlie, you're making your way, but why don't you give me a recon check, a recon and intellect check, please? Let's see if you noticed that Charlie, or that Miltiades fell.
Sorry, what did you say, recon?
Yeah, recon and intellect, please.
Oh. Nope.
Ooh, 6. Actually, 6 is not bad. I think that, given your past experience, I think you didn't tell me that you were keeping an eye out for him, but I think that you would probably be doing that. So I would give you a +2 to your roll. So that's actually good enough.
And Kev, we know about the buddy diving system.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, and actually, you know what? That's totally correct, because your background is from a aquatic world, right? So yeah.
For sure.
So you look back and you see your dive buddy is face first in the sand and is scrambling to get to his feet. Boing, boing, boing. You hear the sonar ping getting closer. What are you guys going to do?
I'm going to try and assist him to get back up.
Okay. So what I will do is I will now use that. I think there is an aid check. Why don't you just make a check against, to help him get up is going to be a routine check. So make another vac suit check with agility, and whatever you roll over 6 is going to be a benefit to Steve's next roll.
Nice. One good roll. Oh.
Nice.
So you do
Thanks
get
for the
him,
effort, buddy.
yeah, you get him to his feet, but unfortunately that's really it. You guys are not getting your what do you call it? You're not able to really get any movement. He's scrambling and sort of like.
It's been a long time since either of us have been underwater, and
yeah.
I think we're a little bit panicked, actually.
Yeah, and I think what Steve, you're sort of like sprawling out, and you're having a difficulty because of the weird environment and the bizarre sort of like the buoyancy issues. You're having difficulty getting a proper footing in here. And you finally get your footing, and you hear over the comm, it's almost on you. Hurry! Run! What do you guys want to do?
Dun, dun. Run.
Try and make it, I guess.
Okay. Let me see here. I think I would like you to make there's not really a skill. I wanted to get you to make kind of like a fear check, but there's not really a stat that lends itself towards that. Intellect, education, or social. You know what I'm gonna do, guys, is let me just look up. I think that there is an intimidate check, and let's see what that actually, or skill. Let's see what that actually. No, there isn't. There's investigate.
That's kind of weird, right?
The skill, yeah. Well, you know, it's just it is. I think of
leadership.
Maybe, yeah, maybe leadership. Let's see here, leadership, directing, inspiring, and rallying allies. So it's It's not tactics or survival. Persuade. Yeah, okay. Persuade also covers bribery or intimidation. So that would, let's see here, intimidating thug would target strength or social. No, it would use that, and it's opposed by persuade. So why don't we say this? Why don't you guys each give me either a strength or social check, whichever one's higher. So you make a 2d6 and add your modifier for either strength or social, whichever one. I think both of you guys are pretty puny. So social is probably better for at least one of you. Miltiades, I don't know. I remember him being kind of low class.
Yeah, he managed to bump it up a little bit, but still, it's just a 0 mod.
What's his strength mod?
0.
Okay, so 0 or 0. What do you? I don't know. That's a tough one, Steve. Which one do you want to go with?
I'm gonna go with 0, and I rolled a 0. There you go.
How the fuck did you roll a 0? Did you have -1 on something?
I'm not trained, so it's -3.
Oh, no. Don't roll persuade. Oh, you know what we'll do is we'll add 3 to that, so that's fine.
Wait, what are we supposed to roll?
Just roll your strength or your social, whichever one.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, at the top. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I was wondering, I'm like, how did you manage that?
You roll a 0 with 2 dice.
It's like you weaponized Brent's luck with rolling. Okay, so Charlie, you're keeping your cool. No problem. And Miltiades, how you doing? Let's see.
Oh, you want me to roll again?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Well, actually, we can take that roll if you like, but
I'll go for the roll again. Let's see, strength
or social.
or social. Let's go strength this time. Boom.
Here we go. Okay, so you're keeping your cool as well, not losing your head. Both of you are mentioning to keep your things, even though this thing, the ping, is so close now, guys. It's so close. What are you gonna do? The sub is still probably
Well, I think we were pressing on for the sub.
30 yards away. Okay.
Well, what are we closer to, the sub or the shelter of the fallen ships?
Oh, well, at this point, you've already spent 2 rounds running. So
like closer to the sub.
You're sort of wide open, yeah.
Here, Pooch. Nice Pooch.
So, ready? Why don't you make another check, please? Vaccine. Let's see.
All right. Come on, big money.
Oh, down by 1. Charlie has screwed up your weight. Oh no, and Charlie. Or Miltiades, you slip again. The 2 of you have stumbled down. Elaine says over the comm, "It's on you. It's on you. Can you see it?" You guys are both Miltiades. You for sure are back on your knees again, and you're scrambling to get up. You're still keeping your hand on your little sensor unit. Charlie, I think you're sort of like a second away from falling. Like when you're almost ready to lose your balance on something, but not quite there. What are you guys doing? It's on you now.
Is there anything that we can pick up off the bottom of around us, like that to use as a weapon?
Not really. It's a ocean floor. I mean, like maybe there's a stone or a piece of coral. Maybe if you looked around, you got those scanning units in your hand though.
Scanning.
Unfortunately, your heads-up display too, guys. Like you've got on your part, one of the corners in your display is that circular sort of sonar unit, and it's right on you. It must be right above you right now if you looked up.
Okay, look up, I guess.
You look up, and what you see is some kind of group or cluster of the Marduk equivalent of jellyfish. You realize that one of your sensor units is now sort of it's scanning and displaying something incorrectly. Now, Jeff, what you may not recall is that our last session, you made a really shitty roll on your sensor roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
you were misreading and feeding the wrong data back to the sub. So this is displaying this crowd of jellyfish as one giant creature.
Mm.
Whew.
Phew, thank
So-
God.
Do you say anything back to the sub? They're freaking out right now. What is it? What do you see? And you can hear both Inar and Pirelli are sort of cutting each other off and talking over each other.
It's just a whole bunch of jellyfish.
Jellyfish. How big? Says Inar. Big. Are they enormous?
No, they're small. It's just a school of them.
A school. Do they seem to be displaying any sort of intelligence or pattern behavior? I mean, they look like a flock of fish, right? But that's really all you can see.
Right. No, just normal.
Normal.
I think we're fine.
Your heart rates are just going like bonkers at this point. And did you guys? Yeah, you both made your fear checks. You're not freaking out in your suits or anything like that. But you know, if you want to take, what I'll let you do is, why don't you make a vac suit roll, but you get a +2 because you're taking your sweet time to sort of make sure everything's sort of, you didn't drop anything, reorient yourself, and get your footing again. Because I picture you guys are sort of running like crazy pell-mell. And mechanics-wise, guys, what I'm doing is I'm assuming you're taking extra time to make the roll. Remember, if you take, the next stage down in terms of how long a task takes, then you get a +2 to it.
Sorry, vac suit.
Yes, please, but for vac suit and intellect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Hey, yeah. So Charlie, no problem. You read it. You sort of have identified what the error is. You turned your sensor off, and phew, that warning sign is gone completely. It's now correctly reading it. Oh man! Wow, that's really bad. Okay, so Steve, let me think here. With an effect of 5, whew, I think what happened is that you're sort of, you're looking at your gauge, and you can see that there's the gauge or the oxygen levels. You can see the little bars like it's blinking red. You're kind of like, the air seems really thin in here. You don't know what's going on, but something's very wrong with your suit.
Command, I've got an issue with my oxygen tanks here.
Oh, geez, what do I think? Is that, yeah, it's bad enough. I think the radio is not working because no one's responding. At least your mic.
Uh-oh. I grab Charlie and I motion in front of his face and I make a sign like I'm running out of air.
Okay.
Oh, shit. I'll check his suit.
Okay, cool. So give me a intellect and vac suit check again, please.
Okay.
Ooh. So on a quick sort of review, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong. At least you can't figure out what the hell's wrong. Like there's no clear bubbles, there's no sparks. Give me 1 sec here, Steve. I want to check the rules on something. That joke we made before the session about making it 2 for 2 for me maybe was not not as funny. Let's see here. So, you guys, what I want to look up is the rules for suffocation, because if there are rules, I'd sooner just run them as written rather than make them up my own, because the ones I make up are probably going to be more deadly than necessary. Suffocation, here we go. Suffocation. It says, if you have a player named Steve, then So without life support, oop, the fuck was that? You guys see anything fall?
No.
I heard a bang. Weird. Huh, that's weird. I can't see anything that's fallen, so I'm assuming it's not.
I did hear a sound, but
Yeah, I heard a sound. I heard something fall. I just don't know what it was. Oh, a Batman fell. We're down to Batman.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Where'd he go? Oh. Correction. We're down to Batgirl.
Oh, thank God you found her.
Well, to be honest, like, you know what, these Emmy has already destroyed one Batman, and those are pretty expensive chew toys. So I'd sooner not have another, you know, Batman tragedy or Bat tragedy. All right. So, Steve. Oh,
yes.
This ain't good. This is not good. Now, as you can imagine, being the medical expert that Commander Miltiades is, he's always had in the back of his mind the particulars of what happens when someone suffocates. It's also been fairly foremost in your mind some days in your career in the military, the space military, mind you. I'm not sure you ever thought of a time when you might suffocate while under the ocean floor, though. And what happens, Steve, is Miltiades, you take 2 points of damage to your endurance.
All right.
As you're beginning to suffocate. Charlie, what are you going to do? Well, actually, first off, Miltiades, what are you going to do? You took some damage, but you're not incapacitated by any means. What are you going to do?
Well, I got to start making my way back towards the sub.
Good call. I am going to require a vac suit roll, but I'm going to set the difficulty as routine, as a 6. So dexterity and vac suit, please.
Dexterity and vac suit. All right. I got to start
Amy.
rolling sometime here.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Nice.
Really, really good.
wow.
Okay, so you start moving your way towards the thing, and you know what? The benefit of that, Steve, is for some reason there's some air that's getting in when you're moving.
Good.
So you're for the next round, you will not suffer any further damage.
Whew.
That doesn't mean you will always not suffer damage. It means for the next round you will not. Charlie, what are you doing? Miltiades has just made a break for us.
Yeah, I'll attempt to. I'll like try to move at double speed or press my. I'll try to beat him there so I can open the door for him.
Oh, okay.
I'll risk. I'm not in danger, so I can.
I'm trying to put myself in Charlie's mindset here too. Like, he knows that Miltiades is running out of air, and he's looking to see what the hell's wrong with the suit, and then Miltiades just makes the run, breaks for it, and leaves you still examining his suit. What do you?
Right, as soon as he makes a break for it, I'm gonna like race after him, basically.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Give me a vac suit and dex check, please. Same thing, it'll be routine, so just a 6. That's an amazing roll, Miltiades. Whoa, another fucking great roll.
Nice.
Yeah, so you're easily able to get past him. And Miltiades, I'm sort of picturing that as he gets up to you, you're kind of going like hurry up, get there. You gesture to him as you're running your way along. All right. So next round, I think you guys are about 10 meters away now. You made some really good movement. And the Captain Corelli says to you over the comm, Charlie, what's going on up there?
He's got a suit malfunction. We got to get back on board to repair it.
Okay, then let's make another set of rolls. Guys, give me a vac suit with dexterity, please. Oh, Charlie, nicely done. Yeah, so I think you make it to the door, or the airlock, I should say. Thank God that was a routine roll, which is a 6. So yeah, you make it to the door, stumbling your way along, and you can feel, you're not taking damage yet, but you can feel that your air, whatever air supply that was back for that for this particular round, it's whatever was loose has now been knocked loose again. So what ends up happening is you are going to take another point of damage next round. The next round, what happens is Charlie throws the airlock open, you hop inside, then you guys crawl inside, the door closes, you begin activating the pressurization thing. You take 6 points of endurance damage.
6 points?
6 points for the last one, yeah. But then you're finally, the airlock, you're sort of like waiting for it to get down, and there's and you throw your suit helmet open, and you're gasping, trying to get some air down into you. How much?
Well, I must be unconscious because that brings me down to -8, and my endurance is a 7.
No. If you hit 0 for endurance, then what you start doing is losing either strength or dexterity.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 dex.
Your dex is now a 1?
No, I lose 1 dex. Sorry.
Okay. Well, so how much total damage did you take? What?
7 endurance, 8 total damage. Yeah.
8 total damage. Okay. No, it was 9 total damage because you took 1 and 2 and then 6.
What?
You took 1, then 2, then 6.
I thought I took 2, then 6.
The first round of damage before you fixed your suit.
Oh.
Remember, you took either 1 or 2 points of damage there.
That's right. There were only 2 rounds where I took damage, and one was 2 and one was 6.
3. You missed one then, because there was the initial round, then you fixed your suit, then there was the round afterwards while you were getting inside the airlock.
Okay.
Then there was the final round inside the airlock. So there was 3 rounds.
One of those rounds I didn't take damage because of my roll of 12.
No, because there's also the round when you were running. That one you didn't take damage.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're taking 9 in total. So that means you got 2 damage to your dexterity, I guess.
Right.
Okay. So so you're in there and you're gasping and getting the air back in, and oh man, yeah, that is not an experience you want to go through again. What are you guys doing?
Examining the suit to see what's wrong with it.
Sure. So why don't we do this? You give me a vac suit plus intellect, and I'm going to give you a +2 because I'm assuming you're going to take your suit time now.
Yeah. Okay. Changes.
Not a science roll?
Nope.
All right.
It's like Dave and tracking in the other campaign.
Yes.
Can I track it?
I want to cook a fine meal. How about tracking? Okay.
What happened to my roll?
Oh, Miltiades. No. Charlie, was that your roll, the 9?
Yeah, that was my roll, the 9.
That was your roll. Okay, so you're able to locate it. What's happened is somehow when Miltiades was thrashing around on the ground there, he managed to rupture a line that was leading from his suit, and it looks like it bled oxygen for quite some time. But it was in such a place that as he was moving, it would sort of like pinch closed and pinch open. Let me rephrase it. It wasn't that it was ruptured. There was a stone that was caught in there that was basically cutting off the supply.
Mm.
So pinching a hose that was leading in, and this, when he moved, it would loosen it at one time. It loosened it a little bit and got some air in. Miltiades, I mean, that's not a great role, but it's understandable why you're not, at your most perceptive, I guess, because wow, I think your life was flashing before your eyes, and it was full of jellyfish. So you guys disembark from the vac suits. You replace them back in, and you make your way back into the sub. I think Jace says, as you're getting in, he looks at you, Miltiades, and says, "Are you okay?"
I'm pretty woozy, so I lie down and groan.
Okay. So you kind of lie down on the floor. Our professor in our turns to you and says, "What is it you saw out there then? What did you see?"
Well, there's a bunch of ships that seem to have been sunk here on purpose.
Ships? Fascinating. And you found that, well, I mean, he knew about the ships, I suppose. Well, the readings you had, the readings that Commander, that you received, though you seem to have some difficulty with the vac suit, and Commander, I trust that you haven't damaged them permanently. The scans the information you received is most enlightening. It does seem as if these ships were sunk on purpose, intentionally. Look, come, and he calls you over, Charlie, and says, "Commander, on your feet. You may want to see this." And you're still on the ground, like, oh. Look, this. Our initial suspicion that these were sunk because of the age of the vessels. You see, these are the types of vessels that would have been in use when Marduk was part of the Sindal Empire, dating back to the fall of Marduk. But I would have thought that these precise hits would have been part of the orbital strikes. The readings and the amount of corrosion on these would seem to suggest that it came from that period. But the scans you got, it appears that these detonations, these ruptures, were caused from within. So they sank these vessels to prevent anything from accessing that cove. But why? Why?
I know it's strange.
I believe that the only place we will find answers will be on that island. Everyone sort of like,
we must.
look. Very well, very well. Captain, if you could bring us to the surface again, we will need to make preparations for landfall. And as he gets back in his seat, he says again, "Commander, do make sure to sit yourself up. And you look a little green near the gills, sir. If you could kindly refrain from vomiting in my submarine."
I reach up behind his back like I'm going to strangle him as he walks away.
Eugenie sees that and sort of gives you like an approving nod. So you guys get back in, and this yellow submarine returns to the surface, and you see the submarine itself is taken out. Let me get this out of the way. There we go. Taken out of the water again, back onto. Give a view for the folks at home. Back onto the Lightfoot. You have the cranes are attached to it, and pull it out of the water, and you guys all come out. And when you guys are out, Mitchell is waiting there. He says, "So, did you find what you were looking for?" And Elaine sort of shoots him a look like, "Just don't start." And Mitchell sort of laughs at that. And Professor says, "We found many things of interest. The commander almost had an incident. He had some difficulty when he was taking a stroll in the water, but I trust that you will be safer above the water than below it, Commander. Oh, do be sure to get some food in you, sir. You're still seem quite green. A fish belly is what you look like now. Now, we have many plans to go. Please, I have preparations to do. Let's discuss in 1 hour." And Captain Corelli says, "Professor," and she sort of looks up at the sky, and you can see that the sun is quite low, so it's going to be dark fairly soon. She says, "Perhaps it would be wiser to wait to daybreak." And he sort of looks up, and he's thinking. You can see that he's thinking like he's genuinely trying to figure out how he could do this in the middle of the night. And then he says, "Perhaps you are right. Best plan, then execute tomorrow morning." Perfect idea. "I'll be taking my food in my quarters, Commander. Thank you." And he makes his way downstairs, leaving you guys on deck. So you guys are free to do whatever you like. What would you like to do?
I look at the captain. Is it to say, how much longer do we have to put up with this guy?
She says, I'm trying to think if she would say anything. She sort of gives you a look of like, you take his money too. So what do you guys want to do for the evening? I mean, there's not a lot of excitement to be found on Lightfoot, but what do you guys want to do?
Is there any alcohol?
There is most assuredly alcohol on board. But I'm just trying to find, oh, right, there's no goddamn, I'm trying to find the rules for recovery, and I am reminded that there is no index in this book. Where is it? Sorry, guys. So why don't you narrate for me what you're doing for your evening then?
Well, I guess I'm kind of injured, so I'm going to have a drink with Charlie and sort of lie down on the couch.
Yeah.
Have a bit of conversation about this, like,
Oh, here we go.
what have we got ourselves into here?
Now, are you trained, Charlie, in medic?
I am.
I know Miltiades is, yeah. I just don't know if you can give first aid to yourself, though. Let me take a look. Let's see if Charlie is first year.
Section would it be in? I don't. Oh, yeah, I am trained.
You are trained. Okay. Why don't you give me a medic check, please? So it takes D6 minutes to do that. If you want to take a little extra time, so that will bump it to, let's see here. I don't think I've got that on my chart. Oh, I do. Here we go. If you want to take D6 times 10 minutes, you'll get +2 to your result.
Okay, sure. I mean, we're spending our evening doing this, so might as well.
So give me a D6 roll first. Let's see how long this takes you.
Okay. Oh, of course.
So an hour. Okay. So there's an hour sort of checking over and
well, we're having conversation and drinks and
sure. And give me a medic roll, please.
Oh my god.
Shit. Even with a +2, it still is.
Sorry, Miltiades.
Thanks, anyways, buddy.
Too much drinking. It took me too long. Like, we were.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So
I'm just having an aneurysm. No big deal.
Yeah, really. So currently you've got a 0, which means that your endurance is your dice modifier for endurance is -3. So what I need you to do, Steve, is give me a D6 roll. Let's see how many characteristics you recover overnight. Now, just for listening at home, the rules as written are per full day of rest, but I'm just going to apply it for overnight. So,
5. So I get back 5 points.
So you get because your endurance modifier is a -3 right now, because it's a 0, you regain 2 points.
All right.
On the upside, with an endurance of, and you can place those to whatever characteristics you want.
Okay.
You can put it to dex, you can put it to endurance, whichever one you want. I will tell you, if you put it to endurance, that will reduce your dice modifier to a -2 instead of a -3.
Yeah, I see that. So yeah, I did that.
Did you? Okay. Okay. So you'll get up the next day and you'll be feeling pretty woozy, but a little bit better. I think probably what's happened too. Let me think here. You know that sort of like bloodshot look you get when you put your goggles on too tight, or like you put goggles on and you dive too deep.
Right.
That's sort of what you got right now. Some blood vessels broken in your eyes from strain.
Sure. My lungs are sore because they were strained.
Yeah. So you're kind of you're able to you'll be able to move around a little better now than what you were before. But poof, boy. So at breakfast the next morning, unless you guys have anything else you want to do, breakfast the next morning, you're talking to everybody, and Professor Anar sees the two of you guys, I think, come in last. And the professor says, you're up. Commander, you're looking, well, not as bad.
Gee, thanks.
I trust you are well enough to accompany me, though. We will be making an approach to the island.
I'll give it my best effort.
And that is all I can expect. So you guys go into a discussion of what sort of the plan is. Where the Lightfoot is currently anchored is a little ways off from the actual cove itself. There is, I mentioned a couple sessions ago that there's that inflatable sort of raft that's on board as well that will be used as the sort of the landing vessel. You knew Charlie, because it's just like you've got a lot of background with sailing and whatnot. You know for sure that the another weird thing about this, the whole cove being shut off, is that by having those barriers in there, it makes this, it seals off this cove as a usable harbor by either shallow bottom or deep bottom ships or submersibles as well. At least it makes it difficult for them to get in. But like, no one would think that this cove would be an appropriate place to land. Like, no one would choose to land there. The reasons being is, for one, the final approach up to shore is just full of dangerous rocks, like submerged rocks and things like that. So it's going to be a little tricky to get yourself in there. The other thing is this is a forested island, and the forest, it grows right up to the shore. Like, you can think of, like, I think we, all of us have been to some kind of lake where, like, you're canoeing along and, like, the trees are, like, reaching out over the edge into the water. That's the entire area in this cove. So, like, if you can get yourself in safely, you're still gonna have to, like, fight your way through trees to get yourself in. So why on earth would anyone think that this would be a place you need to secure is really beyond you. It doesn't make any nautical sense. Inar does not seem to recognize that, but do you bring that up to him, Charlie?
I don't know. Like, he seems to just ignore everything that we bring to him, so no, I probably don't bother.
Do you mention it to Miltiades? Or is it just something that you're like, well, we'll see how things go?
Yeah, I think that it's just something I'm going to keep track of.
Okay. Okay. So then, oops. Unless there is anything else you want to prepare, you guys will want to pick your gear for what you're bringing on. So what do you want to bring with you? You remember what you brought with you on the boat. So what is it that you're going to be bringing with you as you head to shore? And yes, Steve, that's a thinly veiled opportunity for you to make reference to your bone pistol.
Bone pistol.
Yeah, and I don't believe I have any weapon with me, so.
You didn't bring, oh, you guys have your, I think
Sword.
you have your swords with you, because you guys had mentioned them last session about bringing them into the sub.
Yeah, but I thought we decided that it wasn't a very good idea.
Bringing them in the sub, absolutely not. Bringing them to shore, though, is a completely different issue.
Oh, okay.
The reason it was an issue in the sub is because, like, you guys are so closely cramped. Think of, like, I don't know, like any scene we've seen, like those, like that stupid James Cameron thing where he goes down to the Titanic, right? Like, think of how cramped that interior of the sub is. Imagine if you had a device that, when activated, could accidentally cut someone's limb off. Because that's what those vibro swords are like, right? That's why it's unsafe to have that in there. Is because it's just like, oh, geez, I'm so sorry about your foot. But to
Right.
bring it to shore, there's no reason, as long as you secure it somewhere like on maybe a back scabbard or something like that, or tuck it into your backpack. That would be a safe place, just so long as you're not accidentally puncturing the raft, right?
Right. Okay. So then I'll bring it to shore.
Okay. And I'm fine with you guys having like backpacks or whatever. You've got your armor as well.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have? I think Charlie, you've got a sidearm too, don't you?
No, I have a shotgun.
Okay.
I don't have a pistol or anything written on my character
I'm
anywhere.
trying to remember the law level. I don't think you were able to bring a shotgun onto the station, which means you wouldn't have been able to bring it down to the surface, right? Because I think we went through that before. Remember the law level of the station, for you to get from high port down to low port, you had to take the shuttle, which means you had to go through the station, and the shotguns were not permitted off the ship. So I think that shotgun's back on your ship. Do I have that right, or am I remembering that incorrectly?
Yeah, I didn't bring the shotgun with me.
Didn't bring. Okay, cool. So you just got your sword.
Yeah.
Okay. You bring your comm units, I'm assuming, with you. Anything else you want to bring? Good luck charm? No?
Yeah. Wish we had one of those.
My lucky jellyfish?
Your lucky jellyfish, absolutely. Ow! Ow! Why does this keep... Someone pee on my hands! Oh, but these are Marduk jellyfish, so they have some horrible reaction to pee. Steve, you've done it again. You've killed another character. I'm kidding, of course. So, unless there's anything else you guys want to do in the ship, we will cut to you guys making your way like Zodiac style, skipping along the waves. Now, it will only be the three of you. It will be Professor Inar, and Professor Inar, incidentally, he comes out dressed in this it's the sci-fi equivalent of the British pith helmet and the tan explorer uniforms and stuff.
Yeah.
Pockets all over the place that are full of a bunch of different shit. He's got a big scarf around his neck too.
Nice.
It's and if you look at the scarf of it, he says it's windy out there. Keep the neck warm. You feel warm. Now, are we ready to go? He wouldn't say that. Are we ready to set sail then?
We are.
Then our vessel awaits, and what's happened in the interim is I think that Charlie, you and Mitchell have sort of, and maybe with Jace's help, have inflated the ship just off the rear of the Lightfoot. I installed the motor that came with the gear as well, so it's ready to go. So you get your stuff in there. There's maybe a case of sensor equipment that. Probably actually there's two cases, so each of you are going to be lugging along one of Professor Inar's cases as well too, which I think is probably pretty fucking exhausting for you, Steve, given your day yesterday.
Right.
So all you keep thinking is, you get down in the I think there's a scene where you're down in the raft, and Inar is passing the stuff down, and he passes one to you a little too quickly. You could have and Inar says, not to worry, Commander. The fresh air. Once you get out in the water, fresh air will clear your head. Toot sweet.
Yeah, I'll clear your head.
So you guys climb into the thing, and again, you're heading in. Now, I wasn't kidding about how tricky this navigating this boat through these rocks are. This is. No one in their right mind would think this would be a sensible place to make landfall. But one other tidbit of information that Inar has for you is that in previous research and his previous studies, the Reinich Islands or the Reinich Archipelago is apparently uninhabited. There's no people living here either. Which he's when you say, well, there's no one. Well, you don't make any mention of it. You said you didn't make mention of it, but
he did mention that to us.
He did mention it to you that it was uninhabited.
I would have asked Eugenia at some point if that was true.
She sort of looks at the rest of the group and she says, "Yes, but Where do you ask her? Do you ask her in sort of the big group, or do you try to pull her aside?
Well, I probably wouldn't ask her in front of Maris, but if everyone else was there, I wouldn't be concerned.
Like her family?
Yeah, her family.
Okay. Well, let's quickly do that scene then, because I think that's interesting. So, what do you say? We'll say that it's like, she's out, she's in maybe the engine room or something like that, or
Okay,
maybe
sure.
it's, yeah, or she's in. Let's say it's in the kitchen, in the kitchen area there. Let me take a look at the map again. And she's grabbing something, and Jace is there as well. And you walk in, and this is after Inar has given his spiel, maybe like while he's getting himself changed into that ridiculous, explorer's outfit. And Elaine is sort of dealing with the boat, and Mitchell is waiting for the raft to inflate. And you walk in, and what do you say?
Oh, hey, Eugenie. I've been meaning to ask you, ever since the doctor mentioned it, that the archipelago is uninhabited. Is that true?
She sort of looks at Jace, and Jace sort of gives her a look, and she looks back at you and says, "Not now."
Okay. When?
And she again looks at Jace, and Jace sort of like is spreading, maybe like some kind of spread on toasts, something, to try to pretend like he's not listening in. And why don't you give me a persuade check? And I'm gonna give you a circumstance bonus of +2 on this, because I think she's been waiting for someone to. No. What I'll do is I'll give you a boon on it, because she's been sort of waiting for someone to ask her.
Okay. And it's social, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, sorry. Persuasion.
Nice.
Oh, nice one. So she, let's see, hold on. That was a 9 already, and if we sub in that 3, it becomes a 10. Pretty awesome. So she looks at you, and she says, "My people, they don't speak. It's forbidden to speak to those of another island. It said that bad luck would come from it. But it said that there's one place where we all gathered." And she sort of like leaves it as if like you draw the conclusion you will from that.
Mm-hmm.
A place that was once sacred to them, but there are some who felt that belief in old things was misplaced and ill-advised. That the calamity that fell our people when our world burned, that they were no more responsible or able to respond than any of us could on our own. But that's what the old ones said. And she sort of looks at Jace, and Jace kind of, he seems kind of supportive, oddly. Like not oddly, but he seems like this has clearly been something that's been a burr up Eugenie's ass for a while, because the professors have been ignoring her and whatever, and also just speaking ill of the locals. And clearly, you get the sense that Jace has been getting an earful about this for quite some time, and that she is, he's not about to interfere with her having her say to some other person.
Right.
What do you say?
I'm just he's deep in thought.
Okay.
He says, "Thank you for that. I will take this into consideration."
If you go to the island with the professor, know that there are some who would consider that a heretical transgression. Though I'm sure that the professor can tell you about the origins of that. And she sort of like angrily, putting some glasses away or something like that.
So she's hinting that the professor already knows this.
She turns and says to you, just be careful. And she turns and says to Jace, I'll be in the quarters. And she leaves. And Jace is sort of finishing, you turn around, he's sort of like, eating his toast. Looking at you like,
Hmm.
And in answer to your question, I think what she was implying is just that he's a fucking know-it-all. So you get the sense probably that she has tried to tell him, maybe before you guys got on board, about the dangers of going to this thing. Because remember, she's been really reluctant about this whole thing from the get-go, and really hostile towards Professor Inar.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So we're now back on the boat making its way ashore. Now, what I need from you, Charlie, is because I think you are the one who's behind at the rudder or whatever it is at the boat. Can you tell I grew up in a landlocked province? Like, you're at the boat part of the boat. You are at the aft with the motor, sort of operating that thing and steering the sucker. Would you kindly give me a seafarer check? And this is going to be a pretty tricky check. There's something almost sick about me telling you that it's difficult because there's nothing you can do about it.
And am I using dexterity?
I think you're using dexterity. Yeah, dexterity and seacraft or seafarer. Oh, all right. So you're making your way along, and I think that there is. You're getting in there, and the waters here again are nothing like you experienced from your home. Like it sounds like from what you had said that the waters and the oceans of your homeworld are placid and beautiful, tropical kind of blue waters and whatnot. This is not the case at all. If you think of like what the waters are like off the coast of BC, where it's dark and cold, and windy and full of wet submerged rocks, that's what this is like. And to be honest, actually, that's what, if you think of like what the what are they called? Not the Aleutians, but the islands around Victoria. That's probably what the climate is like here. So lots of mixed, coniferous and deciduous trees that are stretching out into the water, and wet, rocks that are submerged. And unfortunately, with that roll, you come very close to hitting one, and you sort of have to like steer away. And Professor says, "What, Commander, Captain? Do you know what you're doing? Is this are you certain
these waters are very much not like the waters I grew up in. It's treacherous here. Stay down and hold on."
He's about to try and say something else, and you sort of like rev the motor. He falls back and sits down. So the thing is that this is just, like I said, I mean, the forest comes right up to the edge of this entire cove. So it's very hard to try and figure out where the hell, trying to find a combination of a place you think you might be able to sort of jam the boat into, and be able to access it, and also a route that is clear of these submerged rocks. So what you could do, again, is if you want to take more time, you could gain a +2. So you just really carefully kind of, make your way along and keeping an eye out for what is the safest place.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to slow down and be much more careful.
Okay. So as soon as you slow down and Professor Inar is able to stand, he does immediately jump right up. And he's like 6'4" too, right? Like he's a great big, tall, lanky guy too. He's sort of pacing back and forth and looking at the forest. He's perhaps there, Captain, and like none of his suggestions are helpful at all. So there's maybe the first or second time you tell him, like, no, 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 there's a rock right there. We'll puncture the raft. But if you went around, or perhaps over there, Captain, Commander, help me point this out. Captain, over there. Why don't you give me another seafarer check with dexterity, and I'll give you a +2 to it.
Come on, good roll. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Nice, very nice. It's a 13. So you actually find, turns out that there are two sort of deciduous trees that are arcing out over this, over the one part of the cove. You look around, and there's actually a pretty clear path to move the raft in towards it. And as you get in there, you find that the trees are actually, the root structure of the trees have cleared out enough like sort of dead zone around it. So there's a really easy way to gain access to the shore from here. There's also, because you rolled so well, there's also probably an easy thing to moor your ship to, and a way to conceal the ship from the water as well.
Oh, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you one of you hops out. I think Commander, you probably do, and get onto the shore, and you tie the front of the boat around the tree. You test to make sure it's secure, and then you all go ashore. So what you see when you get ashore, you get yourself situated, and you transport the two big containers that Professor Inar insisted that you bring with you, is kind of like an untouched wilderness. It's a thick jungle, or thick what do you call it? Not rainforest,
Montane.
Not montane. What's the word I'm looking for? The way you described Pacific Northwest trees or forests.
Boreal?
Boreal? Sure. Yeah, we'll go with that. I don't know. Maybe we're wrong, but we're not fucking botanists, so
No,
yeah, there's a word I'm thinking of here. Like it's a temperate rainforest, I think, rather than a tropical rainforest. This place is just full of life. Like if you picture like Endor, not with the giant trees like the what do you call it, the redwoods, mind you, but just like the fact that it's just full of fallen trees, natural regrowth and stuff like that. It's really quite beautiful, and it's a stark contrast to the surface of Marduk that you've seen elsewhere. Remember when you guys crash landed on it, how fucking sparse and barren it was?
Mm-hmm.
This place is just full of life. There's birds, there's insects buzzing, there's trees and ferns and flowers and other plants and bushes and stuff that are grown everywhere. Now, the downside to this is that it is tough going, because you are effectively bushwhacking your entire way along here. Are either of you guys, do you have any training in survival at all?
yes.
Fan-fucking-tastic, guys. Why don't you both give me a survival check? Let's see how we do in terms of navigating. I want to get a sense of how well you can find your way back here.
So this is where we're trying to use like intellect?
Yes, please, intellect. Oh, yeah, intellect. This wouldn't be...
Education?
Oh, nice.
Then I don't have survival.
Do you not... Are you trained in survival at all?
No, I thought I was, but I'm not.
Oh, okay. Well, not to worry. Charlie is an old hand at this. He knows exactly how to find his way back.
Nice.
Commander, you make a couple suggestions as to which way to go. I think it's over this way, and then you sort of like, whoa, and you disappear beneath the trees. And Professor comes over. Commander, are you quite well? And you're down at the bottom of a gully, surrounded by ferns or some kind of an alien equivalent thereof. You're like, no, I'm not fine. Pull you out of there, and you guys make your way along. Now, as you're cutting your way along, Professor Inar is sort of like chirping away the entire time. He's chirping away about. I'm going to assume that you guys sort of tune him out at a certain point, and you're paying attention more to what's going on around you. So I won't bother filling in what he's jabbering on about. But then, why don't you guys both give me a recon and intellect check, please?
Okay. Oh, yikes.
Okay.
Womp womp.
I think you can make the roll too, Steve.
I did.
Oh, did you roll 4 as well? Okay.
Yeah.
So, no. You guys, what you're seeing, guys, is as you're making your way along here is you're coming across untouched, ice-cold, pure water streams, beautiful, colorful fruits that seem edible, small creatures, all or mostly mammals, it seems, but unrecognizable, clearly alien creatures that are kind of making their way from one place to another. I guess neither of you guys are actually from Earth, so from Terra, so I mean everything would be alien from it's not from your Earth, but for the viewers at home and for us as the players and DM, we can see that these are, they look close. It's something like close to a squirrel, but it's got like weird fringe of feathers coming out from its the side of its head and kind of goes over and it looks at you guys curiously and kind of like whoop, 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 and then squawks and makes its way off. And you reach a point after traveling for maybe about an hour and a half of stumbling around here. So you're probably, I think, about a kilometer into the island at this point. And my apologies to those listening at home who are not familiar with the metric system, but that is unfortunately what we have in our, not unfortunately, but that's what we have in our Napoleonic country. And what you guys see is that there is a big rocky outcropping, and it's jutting out from the surface of the jungle. And you guys don't notice it. It's actually the professor who notices it, who just stops rigid, like a scarecrow, and is staring at this thing. And Commander, you actually almost walk into him, and you're kind of like, whoa, and you're looking around at what he's looking at, and then you look over, and you guys can see it. It's this black, sort of jagged bit of stone, not black, like a dark gray, that sort of juts out of the foliage. And this is a marked contrast to anything you've encountered so far. Everything else seems to be relatively. I mean, it's a forest floor. It's not exposed rock or anything like that. But this is an outcrop, which even from the distance that you are standing, which is probably about maybe 100 meters, it is something different. And Inar, without taking his eyes off this thing, says to you, "What, gentlemen, what would you suppose that is?" And you guys look over. What do you
like
think?
an ancient structure?
As a DM, it's not. It seems to be just one sort of jagged bit. You're not sure. You're not sure. Like, it's not like an actual structure itself. It is incongruent with the rest of the surrounding terrain. But you know what? Yeah, give me another recon check. So you're looking at it. If you're going to really try and inspect it and see if it is manufactured, let's see if you get a chance to see anything.
Nope.
No, it looks like a. You're like, no, it looks like a, whatever. It's an island. Of course, there's gonna be volcanic, outcroppings or whatever.
Right.
Commander, you want to make any rolls yourself, or you want to? Do you have any comment for the professor's observation or his question?
Maybe make a science roll.
How so? Like, what scientific are you trying to?
Sort of understanding geology and.
Yeah, no, I'll buy that. Okay, give me a. Are you trained? Are you specialized in geology, or is it going to be?
No, just general science.
General science, yeah, absolutely. Give me a science check. Let's see here. Let's see
All
what
right.
information this gives you. Yeah, I'll buy into that.
6.
Yeah, so and that's only going to be a routine difficulty. It won't be an average one. So, yeah, like you know what I had said to you, like this is not, or does not appear to be consistent with what a volcanic growth would be. You would have expected that if there were those kind of extrusions of igneous rock around, there would have been more than just one. In the kilometer you've been hiking, you've been effectively passing mostly the same kind of terrain, and this seems very different from whatever you've passed before. Steve, give me another recon check. Recon and intellect, please. Or is recon the thing you're not trained in?
Yeah.
Oh, I love. Okay, please, yeah, definitely give me a recon check.
Perfect.
I can guarantee you, who will remind everyone to take notice in Savage Worlds will be Steve.
Ooh, no.
Oh, 1. Okay, so you, the player, will know that this is not true, but you, the character, you're looking at it, you think there are pirate markings on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like markings from a space pirate. Oh my god, it might actually be what's his name? Admiral Derrican. The guy who's hunting Charlie.
Right.
You're looking at it, and that's sort of what hits you, and then you realize just how far in the middle of fucking nowhere you are on this thing, and the fact that pirates attacked you before. Holy shit! Maybe they weren't from Ogma. Maybe they were part of Derrican's crew. Oh my god, they might know about the nuclear weapons.
So you're freaked out.
What do you do,
Yep.
Steve?
I make sort of a panicked look at Charlie, and I'm kind of like, without trying to say anything,
Right, because I mean, it's not like he's going to say any of this out loud.
No.
Charlie says, "Hold up for a minute," and
guys, I want to point out one reminder for you, just because we play so many fantasy role-playing games. I think it's easy for us to forget the level of tech that you guys have. But remember, you got your.
Oh, right. Yeah,
we can text each other. We can text each other.
You got your comms.
Right. We always forget about that.
Been playing too many Dungeons and Dragons games.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. That's too funny.
Yeah.
I text him and I say pirates !
Okay.
I text back, "Where do you see pirates?"
I text back, insignia.
Okay. So, Charlie, you look again at this stuff and you squint your eyes, and you know what? Maybe, holy shit, maybe there are markings on there. You can't make out what the hell they actually say, but
I rush over to Maris, and Maris, I think there's inscribings on there.
I believe you're right, Captain. I think so. Come on! And he starts making his way through the jungle towards them.
Are those pirate inscribings?
No way to find other than go. And he's making his way through this clearing of bushes. His hands and his the bag he's carrying and his walking stick above his head, so he's not getting caught in the bushes.
Charlie indicates for Miltiades, or he texts him. He says, "Make sure you've got one hand on that bone pistol."
Always.
Always. Commander, are you jerking off in the tree again?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
You can insert your Harvey Weinstein joke there. Okay, so you turn, and I see. Are you guys carrying on after him? You have a moment. He's rushed on along ahead of him too. If you guys want to have a conversation, you're free to do that. But you will be leaving him alone though.
No, I think that we'll follow him because we've got to go check this out now up close to see if it really is something dangerous to us.
Okay. So you go racing after him. You make your way through the sort of clearing, or the small clearing that's between the two of you. It's still full of foliage, but you know they only come up to about your chest, so you're able to sort of navigate along. You, although for you, Miltiades, carrying this box is like just because you're so wounded, or not wounded, but you're so worn down from the previous day's activities that you're kind of like the last thing you want to do is carry this thing any further than you need to. But you guys get to the far side of it, and Professor Anar has already made his way up the sort of incline towards this to where this thing is, and he's looking at it and says, you know, he says, "Do you see it? Can you see this? Incredible, incredible! You must get the sensor gears out and the cameras and the scans. We must capture all of this." And as you get closer, you can see that you were not wrong, Commander. There are carvings on the side of this outcropping. However, unless the pirates that you are thinking of are very different than they have been in the past, you were very wrong as to the nature of these carvings. Because you see, guys, what these depict is humans apparently in trouble on the water, with some of them on the shore and some in boats, all stylized, mind you. And there are giant tentacles rising from the deep. Because you're so far away on your own, deep in this untouched wilderness, you can't help but read into it that those tentacles are menacing the boats, tipping them over. Here and there, a human is in the grasp of the tentacles, while the others stand on the shore, making arm gestures that could be construed as worship, cheering, or maddening terror. The carvings are quite beautiful, but they look very weathered. Would you guys, let me think here. I think I'll let you make it'll be recon I'm thinking of. I think it'll be, oh, anyone trained in art?
That's at the top, right?
Yeah.
No.
No, so you got no eye for art. What about, oh, engineering? I'll let engineering, if you want to make a check. I'm not sure what I guess it would be mechanical?
Education?
Oh yeah, the education you're using. I'm just trying to think of what kind of structural engineering, obviously. Duh, Kev. I'm like, mechanical? No. If you have a specialty in structural engineering, that's cool. If not, just go ahead and make a raw engineering check.
Oh, otherwise you get a boon?
No, with education, please. They're still shaking.
Oh, nice.
Whoa, really good. Okay, so Charlie, you get in there and you're looking at the surface, and you can tell from the precise and fine lines that are in here, while these markings are quite weathered, they're clearly the work of advanced tools. The rock is polished and might have been cut with an energy device rather than worked with a chisel.
Oh.
Yeah.
So these aren't ancient.
No. Well, the thing is, they're not worked by primitives, if that's what you meant.
Right.
So they clearly are old because the stone is quite weathered, but the markings themselves were by some technologically advanced device.
I point that out to Maris.
Okay. And he says, yes. Yes, Captain, I believe you are correct. Look at that. Fascinating. Utterly fascinating. Commander, how are those tools coming?
Oh, they're right here.
Yeah, so you sort of thrown the thing on the ground, you've taken taking some pictures of it now. Now, the other thing you notice, Captain, is that there are actually gaps in this wall that are cleverly concealed by shadow and curvature, which seem to lead to an open space within the rocks. Do you want to take a step down to see what's...
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So it's dark in there, so you're going to have to get a flashlight out.
Yeah, I've probably got some kind of an exploring
Sure.
light I brought.
Yeah, I think there's probably like a belt you probably bought that has some of the stuff on it. So you pull up, you hit the light on, and you jump back. And then only because it's so creepy being out here on your own and going down this darkness. For one thing, it feels very cool. The ambient temperature out here, now that you're on the island, is probably about a comfortable like 18 degrees Celsius. And as soon as you start stepping down into this cave, it feels like, or into this opening at least, it feels like it's dropped like 5 degrees. So it's distinctly cool as you step down into it. And then you flash the light, and what you see is, on all sides of this entrance, there are tall carved faces in the blackened rock, shadowed by their height, and with the sea rising and falling at a pool deep within. When you step into this opening, you can see that there is a chamber. And in the middle of the chamber, there's a pool that you can see is going up and down. You can't see it feeding directly, but you would guess from experience on your world, this is following with the tides. And there's those faces carved into the wall, again, with the same amount of precision and craftsmanship as you saw on the walls outside. And when you go down, Maris goes scrambling down as well, too. And he's scrambling all over the place. He nearly falls into the pool as he's attempting to see everything at once. And he begins providing an explanation of the faces. That's when you turn your light around and you see that there is another carving on the inside of this, against the far wall. This, guys, is what you see. If you click on it, it'll get bigger too. That is on the far wall there. An enormous stylized carving of what is depicted as waves and twisted tentacles coming out of the water and stars falling to earth. So he's sort of lost in looking around. What are you guys doing? So I didn't ask you, did you go down with the two of them?
I mean, well, I'm following them, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think Inar probably would have said, to come down. So you're sort of filming everything that is going on in the basement, or in the cave, and you can still hear there's sort of the distant rush, and it's probably about 10 degrees in here, so it's much cooler than it was outside. Why don't you guys each give me a recon check with your intellect, please. And Maris is still going on and on about this is just
goodness.
Evidence. This must be a place of worship for the gods of Marduk. The gods of the deep, they come here to communicate with them. And look, a pool that leads directly to them, a way of direct communication to them. And the age of this must have been dated, this must date back to the original fall. Think of it. Your world is burning. Who do you turn to other than the gods of your ancestors? Pray to them, to have them come back, enter your life, and save you from that apocalypse. And that's what they did. Came, re-sanctifying this place, returning to the bosom of the gods of their ancestors. And he gestures at this, that carving on the wall. Just think of, yeah! And he jerks, and he kind of jerks back. And you guys are sort of standing near the, closest to where the sort of path that leads up and out of here is. He's further in there. He's looking back at you guys and starts. He's not looking at either of you. It looks like he's looking at something beyond you and behind you. What do you guys do?
Spin around.
The two of you spin around, and you see standing there a tall and well-muscled man wearing animal skins, dark skin, long hair pulled in braids and tied behind his head, markings across his face, and in his hand a somewhat primitive looking, but you can tell deadly effective spear. His darkened eyes dart back and forth between you. His grip tightens on the spear. And he says, "We'll see you all again next session." Awesome. Okay, cool. So let us get out of roll 20 here. Exit game. Boom. There we go. And I will, oops, get out of my, there we go. Good going. All right. So for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session, I think 6 or 7 of our Pirates of Drinax campaign. More exciting developments underneath the waves of, and above the waves, I guess, of Marduk. As always, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and me or one of our players here will endeavor to respond in a timely fashion. I'll say I appreciate all the comments that I've been getting from folks who have been helping to correct my rules fuck-ups, so thank you very much for those. If I have screwed up anything else, or if you have suggestions as to how better to implement the rules that than I've been doing them tonight, I would appreciate the suggestions, and I will see if I can do them better. I'm always I'm cognizant of there always being room to improve for these. So otherwise, we hope you've enjoyed tonight's session, and we will see you again with more Pirates of Drinax in 2 weeks' time. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.